If you get nothing else from this video of what I'm about to say, just know, get this, you were made for this time. You were born and knew you were going to be at the space that you were going to be for this time.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna
All right, so let's get started. So today we're going to be talking about so all I'm going to do in this video is list and go over a little bit of the biggest transits that are happening and sort of the bigger picture of what's going on in 2025. Now, if you remember and you've been following me, I did say if we just get through 2025 and 2026, by 2027, we're good. Okay. Doesn't mean we're bad now, just means that there's some navigating that we're going to have to do. Some of it's going to be uncomfortable. For the most part, if you've watched me, you're watching along, you're doing what's come to you, you're making those choices, and you have been in the last 2, 3 years. A lot of you have are on a lot of you have been through your journey. Like, this is the easy part. It may look on the outside world like it's not the easy part, but for those of you that have really done the work within, this is not going to be as chaotic as you're going to see a lot of people in the world, right? So let's get started. The most important thing that you all need to know is we have what's called the inner planets and then the outer planets. You can think of the inner planets are more the personal planets, the things that kind of happen every day. And the way that we figure this is because they move faster, right? So the sun, 24 hours, the moon, 2 days, or in a 28 day 29-day cycle, 30-day cycle, right? So they cycle differently, right? Well, we when it gets to the outer planets past Saturn, so we call Saturn, and then outer is the outer planets. Those are more societal things that are going on, the bigger energy that goes on. But that doesn't mean it's not personal to you because you are part of society, right? So it can affect you. It's just not, usually it's the bigger changes that affect you. So these changes are, when it's the outer planets, it's bigger changes for you. Where the inner planets, it's almost like the inner planet would be like, the example would be, oh, such and such made me late, right? So my schedule is usually this time, but then I was late, right? That's a change. That's a personal change. I was late because, I had to finish drying my clothes, or I had to stop and get coffee, or like those are all the inner planets, right? The outer planets are more like, I've lost my home, I have to move, I lost my job, I have to move, I'm changing careers. Not I didn't lose anything, but I'm changing careers because I'm excelling. Um, our government is saying blah blah blah, so now we have to do this. Like, those are more societal things. They do affect you. They're just doing it on a different scale, right? So the reason that this is important this year in 2025 is because the outer planets are changing signs, which means what they were doing when a planet goes into a sign, it has to behave, express itself within the rules of that sign. Does that make sense? So Pluto, we know, is the big planet that's an outer planet. It's the subconscious. I'm doing a series on Pluto. If you want to watch that, I will be finishing the Pluto series, the house series that I've started. There are other things with Pluto I'm going to do. But if you want to understand Pluto a little bit better. But Pluto has changed signs, and he cycles differently, right? So he had been in Capricorn for 16 years. I'm sure y'all have all heard this. I'm just kind of reverberating. So he had been in Capricorn for 16 years, right? So Capricorn is very different energy. Capricorn is about the structures, the elite, the hierarchy, the government, and people telling us what to do, right? And us responding in a manner because they were the boss, or they knew what they were talking about, or so we thought. Anyway, Pluto being in there, Pluto had to go by the rules of Capricorn. He has now moved into Aquarius, and y'all are already seeing in life how this has changed. It is no more about them. It is about we the people. It is about humanitarianism. It is about um, thinking outside the box. Aquarius energy is very genius energy, but Aquarius is ruled by two planets. It's ruled by Saturn and it's ruled by Uranus. So Uranus can be cold and detached. And sometimes we're so close to the situation that we don't see what's going on. And so I think as we're moving into as Pluto is moving into Aquarius, or has moved already 1 degree, has moved into Aquarius, we are becoming, I wouldn't say detached yet. Doesn't mean we're not going to, but I can say that you can see a different perspective where you were too close to the situation. So that may be what's going on right now, is that you may be seeing a different perspective because you have detached emotionally, because that's what Aquarius can do, have separated emotion. I won't say detached yet. You're not detached yet. You're separated where you can see the another point of view, right? You can not be so involved in your emotions that you can't see it, right? Aquarius is the master at this. And this is why I think the world needed Aquarian energy, right? And so that because we were too close to a situation, you were too, I'm not saying everybody, I'm just giving examples. You could have been too involved in politics, too involved in church, too involved in religion, too involved in tarot, too involved, so much so that it was right up in your face and you were so emotionally attached to it that Aquarius comes along, or Pluto goes into Aquarius, and it sort of helps you detach a little bit, right? Sort of step back a minute, take a breath, and see things for what they are, right? That's sort of the energy that's some of the energy that is helping us, and Aquarian energy that's helping us with Pluto, right? So I'm doing the Pluto series. You can go look at that. I'm going to be continuing and finishing that, right? But I've got other stuff to say about Pluto and Aquarius. But that's kind of where we are. We're seeing with Pluto opposing Mars right now in retrograde, we're seeing the subconscious. That's Pluto, the subconscious, the underworld. He is the underworld. Pluto is the subconscious. Pluto is the underworld. Pluto is what's hidden, right? Um, Pluto plays with your psyche. So we can see out in the world where Pluto opposing Mars, which he is right now. You see how here's Mars retrograde. Things that we have seen, things that we know of, retrograde, right? Our body, the earth, its land, right? That's the body for Mother Earth, the land, right? The water, the trees, the all of it, the mountains, that's her body, right? That's also our body personally, Mars, right? And this is Pluto opposing Mars. Okay, so I'm just going to go over this really, really quick so you understand what I'm saying. What's going on in the world with the fires? With the fires everywhere. It's not just in LA, it's all over too. There's going to be other things. We've got Uranus attached. So we've got Uranus here in Taurus. And if you followed me, if you've seen me, if you know how I work, I've told you when a planet gets to 22 to 30 degrees, 22 to 29 degrees, in that 0 degree, so 22 to 29 degrees, they will begin to express what they need to express, right? So Uranus in Taurus is the land. It's expressing what it needs to express. Pluto is saying you're too attached, right? Too attached. You're too attached. See this Pluto trine that you're too attached with Mars opposing. That is everything that was hidden underneath, everything in our subconscious that we're not thinking of is being, so secrets are being brought out, right? With these fires, we're learning that there's mismanagement of the earth, right? With Uranus and Taurus. Uranus, will change shit on a dime, right? But with this Mars opposing Pluto, it's like what was hidden, what was a secret, what is not helping us anymore, what are we too attached to that we need to bring out and bring forth, and no more lies, right? So how are we, because remember, it is in Aquarius energy, we the people. So we, the people in the past, believed that I'll pick on LA, right? Because I lived in San Diego for forever, for 30 years. I'm a San Diegan basically, as well as a Texan, but I've lived all over. Anyway, so um, we, the people, believed that Hollywood and LA was something that we sort of held up, right? So we had this illusion that we wanted to be like them. We wanted to be more like them. We adored them. We adorned them, right? And then this is my opinion, but this is what I'm seeing in the chart. All of that stuff we have been understanding for the last 2, 3 years. They're not who they say they really are. Um, this has been proven to us over and over. It continues to be proven to us over and over. And am I saying every person in LA? No, because I'm from San Diego. I love people from LA. I'm just saying that industry was not what it said it was. It's doing some really bad things. Pluto is the dark, the deep, the underworld. But Mars with Pluto opposing is bringing all of those secrets out so that we can in turn make an educated decision. That is Aquarius. Aquarius loves to make an educated decision. Aquarius loves to know everything about the thing so that it can make the right decision. And so if the fires have to bring everything out, then that's what the fire. I mean, we have a city of tunnels underneath LA. And LA is just what I'm talking about right now, but it's not just LA. You're seeing other cities, other things. So just know that in this time, that's going to be brought out. Secrets are going to be brought in the open so that we can make an educated decision as Aquarian, as we the people together. Does that make sense? Okay, so I went off on a tangent with Pluto opposing Mars in Aquarius and um, Cancer or Leo. It was in Leo, now it's Cancer. But anyway, the major aspects, the major transits that are going on are that we have four of the outer planets. The outer planets are societal. They're bigger energy for us. They're the bigger changes that we're going to have, right? And I started with Pluto, and then I went off on Pluto because Pluto's a big thing in my world. Um, so anyway, the four, and I'm gonna do the important dates that I will be working on this year with you guys and really help delving into and helping you understand, right? For 2025. So the four outer planets that are going to be changing signs or have already started changing signs, of course, are Pluto. Pluto has gone from Capricorn into Aquarius. So Pluto was in November. November 18th is when Pluto went into Aquarius. And then the next one will be Mars. So it's not a planet. The next planet will be March 30th, but the next thing is what we've already had since no since a couple of days ago. So a couple of days ago, um, the nodes change signs, right? So not only are four of the outer planets changing signs, but the nodes are changing signs, right? So in this time this year, we have not had where the outer planets all change sign around the same time. Like it's never this close. And the nodes are changing signs. We have not had the big shifts like that. These are big shifts because this is societal, right? This is big energy that we are changing, right? That's that and of course the universe is here to help us, right? Mother Earth's here to help us. The universe works with us, the planets work with us, they don't work against us. But this gives us a clue as to what's going on. We've got big planets moving into different energy and it's all happening around the same time within a year, right? Some a little bit outside of the year, but within a year and some. Okay, so we have the nodes changing from so the nodes are changing from Aries to Pisces in the north node and from Libra to Virgo in the south node, right? So the north node is now going to be Pisces and the south node is now going to be Virgo. Okay. And we have for the next 18 months, we've got these nodes changing. Now, some of us, like me, have our nodal returns, which means I was born with the North Node at 27 degrees in Pisces. So at 29 degrees, it's going to eventually hit the 27 degrees. So I will have my nodal returns. And whatever degree your North Node is, it is the opposite for your South degree. I mean, for your South Node, but it is the exact same degree. Okay. So I will be having my nodal return. That means that the nodes are right where when I was born. Okay. Which means it's going to activate it for me. So, but I'm not the only one. I'm sure there's other people at 27 or 28 or 29 or in Pisces, North Node and Virgo South Node, right? So if you have Virgo South, if you were born in your natal chart with Virgo South Node and Pisces North Node, um, check that. And I'm going to do the nodal returns for everybody, but for these two signs because it's hitting my nodal return. So I'm going to let you guys know what that is. But just know that those areas and the nodes are your destinies, right? Whether you've had the destiny, whether you're going to have this new destiny, it's still your destiny. It's your past life, present, and future lives, right? Where are you moving to and what are you bringing from? What is so comfortable that you have mastered in your South Node that you are bringing that with you into your now as you move towards what you want to become. That's your nodes, okay? So you always have to balance those. You'll feel more comfortable in your South Node, but you're moving towards your North Node. You have to incorporate both, okay? So anyway, those change signs, right? They've already changed signs. So we've had Pluto and we've had the nodes changing signs. And we have eclipse seasons where the sun and the moon are like going to be eclipsing them, right? And to me, these destiny points, they're points, they're not a planet. Those are like portals that we're walking into, and it's almost like as we walk into the new space, we have to become, we're alchemizing ourselves to become this new vibration. Does that make sense? So that's how I see the nodes. That's how they are for me. It's like they're portals. It's like not only are we going to move into there and alchemize and transmute and change and have different vibration, because it's a new space. That's always been ours. We're just now able to alchemize ourselves to be in that space. But not just that, the planets as they come through here, I see them as them alchemizing too, them changing too, right? Them evolving as well. Those needing to be a specific frequency hertz so that it helps us through this journey, right? Hope that makes sense. Anyway, so that's the nodes. And then the next thing is March. So on March 30th, Neptune, who has been in Pisces for 14 years, right? He's been in Pisces 14 years. Neptune. Neptune is moving into Aries. Now, we all have been working with Neptune. Society has been working with Neptune. What is illusion? What is not illusion? What are we pretending that isn't there? What has been coming to our face? What challenges have we on a personal level and a societal level? Remember, Neptune's a big energy too. So, on a societal level, what have we understood about what the illusions are? Remember, I was talking about Hollywood. Yes, we love the good part of Hollywood of watching the movies, but no, we don't love the evilness and the fakeness and I mean, as much as we like the illusion and fakeness, we don't like the illusion and fakeness. Does that make sense? That's what we have been working through in Pisces. Remember, in Pisces, there was no bounds. And Neptune is the ruler of Pisces, so there was no bounds. So it went far, right? But it's not the only planet that was aspecting, it's not the only thing that was going on in there because you have planets that came in there and aspected or had conversations with Neptune about what we were going to do with society, right? And then at some points they had the conversation where Capricorn was going to say uh, either you're a boss in this, either you understand this, either you Either you put the work and understanding, either you become the expert at it or you don't, and you don't get any access, right? That was Capricorn, was Pluto. But now that we've moved into Aquarius, Aquarius is like, no, I want to know about this. And this is available for everybody to know if they need to know, which is why all that stuff is coming out, right? The illusion, right? We had the Kardashians. This is all societal stuff, right? But on a personal level, we went to the depths with the 14 years. What we thought was true in our lives was an illusion sometimes. What we thought wasn't true was true and hit us in the face, right? Like we understood if we're going to work in illusion, then we have mirrors back to us about illusion. So if we were going to be fake, we had people coming to us that were fake. If we were going to be in a lie and kind of stretch it and bend it and make it okay for ourselves, well, we were going to have those people come in, and then it affected us, right? That's all Neptune and Pisces. And then Saturn had gone in there and said, look, you have all these dreams, you have all this way. And no, it's not wrong for you to, because honestly, this is Saturn. Because you're thinking, well, I may have lied because it isn't there, but in my head it was there, right? So this is just scenarios, right? So you could have said that, and Saturn comes in there and says, look, you're right. These illusions can be true because who's to say that they're not true in another dimension, right? But in this dimension and how you work, if that's the way you want it, if that's the way you want to see the illusion, it's just going to stay up there until you do some work and make it come down here. So what part of your dreams, or which dreams, because you have all these dreams in here, you need to take some responsibility. You need to put some boundaries. This is why I'm here. What But to put some boundaries, we need to know what you believe in. And that's what Saturn has been working with. When Neptune went in there, we were all about the manifestations and look at the magic and this is what we can do and da 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 da. Da. And then we went into like, some of these people are delusional in Hollywood, right? Delusional. I'm just picking on Hollywood because I can't. But some of these people are delusional in Hollywood, and are they really living in the real world? Because that's not the way it works, and blah blah blah. Like we just kept doing that, right? And then Saturn came in here and said, "Look, you need some boundaries. What are we gonna do? What? But in order to understand what you want to do, you need to understand your belief system, and that's what Saturn's been working with us, right? Well, now Neptune is going to be moving into Aries. Okay, that's a very different energy than Neptune and Pisces. That's a very different energy. There's going to be some contradiction. There's going to be some stuff going on in here, and I will talk about that later. But sorry, I just get so hooked about what's going on and what's going on. But the point is that on March 30th, Neptune changes signs to Aries. Okay, now the next thing that happens. So now we have Pluto has changed signs. We have the nodes have changed signs by March 30th. And then we're going to have Neptune change signs. And these are all the outer planets, okay? Of course, the inner planets, they change signs all the time. Um, so we don't really focus on. There are some people, some astrologers that focus on the inner. I like the outer because they make the biggest changes. They're like the soul, the deeper part of you. And if you know me, my ninth house is Scorpio. I have to go deep with every subject that has to do with modalities and the mysteries of life. That's just how it works for me. See, I've accepted who I am. Anyway, so the next thing that's going to happen is on May 25th. So on May 25th, Saturn will be moving into Aries. So understand this. Neptune is moving into Aries, which again I will go into in another video where I'll show you guys what's going to happen. And then right behind it, we get a couple months, and then here comes Saturn, right? So Saturn and Neptune are going to be working in cahoots, close together, and it's close to that north node, right? So they're going to be close to this north node in the meantime until they move over here to Aries. Does that make sense? But we've got Saturn. So we got Daddy Saturn. He's like, what are you doing over here, Neptune? We've learned that we can dream, and we can create, but what are we going to do about it, right? And Aries is all about let's do it, right? So Aries is going to be happy when Saturn comes in here. She's not going to be so happy when Neptune goes in there, right? But she's going to work with both of them because they're both going to, they got to follow the rules of Aries, okay? So that would be in May. So May 25th. So now we're going to have Saturn changing signs right next to Neptune. Neptune changing signs. We've got Pluto changing signs, and we have the nodes changing signs. Those are big energies. Remember, those are just, and that's why I was giving you examples because those are societal energies. And it's important because Pluto is the theme. Pluto is leading all of this. Pluto is leading all of this change, right? On a bigger scale, on a bigger level, right? So we've got Pluto, we've got Saturn, we've got Neptune, we've got the nodes, your destiny. Like we're changing. It's just the way it is. But I'm telling you, that's why I said at the beginning, you were made for this. You were born for this. You are who you are and decided to come at this time because, I mean, some of you can say, I heard the call and I was coming as a soul. Whatever your belief system is, I'm not going to say that's not true. I'm just saying, you were born for this. Your specific soul and personality is what Mother Earth, this dimension, and this universe needed for this time, for this change. And that's you. It's all of us. Okay? What an interesting, wonderful time to be alive, right? So, then after Saturn comes in and he's moving into Aries, and look at Aries, she's got all this by this time, by May 25th, we've got this whole thing going on in Aries. We've got Chiron, we've got Venus, we've got Neptune, and we've got Saturn. That's big. That's huge. That's huge. Okay. And so then by July 7th. So then by July 7th, where's Gemini? By July 7th, Uranus, who is finished up in Taurus, who has been there for a while, right? So Uranus will be moving in to Gemini. Now, these are big planets. They have been in these other signs for a long time. Pluto, 16 years he was in here, and he'll be in here for 20, right? Then we understood Neptune was in there 14 years. You know, Saturn's in there for 2 or 3 years. So we're talking years at this time, right? Now we'll have Uranus moving in to Gemini and understand, and that's a whole different energy of what's going to be going on, right? So that's not the only thing we've got. Yeah. And here's the thing, because we've got Jupiter moving in, but Jupiter is an inside planet, right? It's a huge planet, so it does so it's a huge energy. Jupiter's the biggest planet, right? So it's a huge energy and it expands everything. It expands your philosophy, it expands your higher mind, it expands your luck, it expands your abundance. It expands. That's what it does, right? It's wisdom, right? And it too, on June 9th, will be, but I didn't put it in there because that's not the four outer planets. It's an inner planet. It's before Saturn, right? So it has to do with us personally more than the outside societal, right? But doesn't mean that society isn't affected by what we do, right? Just know that it is also going to be moving into a new sign on June 9th. It will be moving into Cancer, right? And so all of these outer planets are moving from water, earth to fire, air, right? That's what I've been talking about. But it's the outer planets that are doing this. This Jupiter is going to be moving into water, right? So there's going to be a little murky because think about air and water, right? So it's going to be fire, water, air, water, right? So there's going to be times where the fire can put the water out. I mean, the water can put the fire out, right? But there can also be times where I don't really know how air and water would mix, either they work well together or they're not working at all together. I mean, like that's how you have to learn how to incorporate those elements together, right? But just know that this is more the inner side of us, but because of our wisdom, because of our growth, because of our keeping the people together, keeping making families, making groups working together. It's more along the lines of what Pluto's doing in Aquarius, but Cancer will does it with like a really open heart, where Aquarius does it with logic, right? And thinking outside the box. Okay. So it's a little different, but they're kind of working. I'm just trying to figure out like how the air and the water would work together, right? That's just me talking off the top of my head. Anyway, Jupiter is going to be moving um into Cancer. So these huge planets are going to be moving into their next signs, and Jupiter as well, that is a huge planet, is going to be moving signs as well. Okay? So here's the thing. By July 7th, yeah. So by July 7th, even before then, when they start moving into that next sign, here's the thing, there will all be trining and sextiling one another in like in exact degrees. That's hard. That doesn't come around very often. Okay? Like, you guys know, to me, I'll say three orbs, two orbs, one orb. So 1 degree apart, 2 degrees apart, 3 degrees apart, right? Some people, some astrologers go 8, 10 degrees. I don't go that far. I can see where you can still get some stuff that you will feel on a conscious level with 10 degrees, 11 degrees, right, for the inner planets. But when we're talking about these outer planets, I'm 2 or 3 degrees. I don't go past 2 or 3 degrees. It's not like you can't. It's not like the energy cuts off because it doesn't. It's just like you won't be as conscious of it or see it. Yeah, like you would when it's 2 or 3 degrees, if that makes any sense. But just know the fact that they're going to be trining and sextiling in exact degrees, like they're going to be exact. Because usually, I told you, astrologers can say, oh, well, they're trining, but that means they're like 11 degrees off, right? And I'm like, yeah, it's a loose, what's what we call a loose trine. So yeah, you may get a give. The energy is flowing. It's not going to be hard, but you personally may not even be paying attention to it because it's 11 degrees. So your energy is like, doesn't even feel it. You know what I mean? But when we're talking exact, those things are, you're gonna see them, you're gonna feel them, you're gonna note them, you're gonna be conscious of it, right? That's what's happening when these planets change signs. They are going to be moving in exact sextile and trining each other, which is crazy because you guys know trines are gifts. You have to do nothing. You've already done all the work. They're just going to be stuff given to you. There's just going to be presents coming. There's just going to be gifts from nowhere, right? And sextiling is, you're going to be given opportunities. So for us that are aware, and knowledge is power, right? That's why we know, that's why we look at all this stuff, is because it makes it better if we know what's coming, right? Or we don't have to know exactly what's coming, but just to sort of say, oh, if so when that thing comes, you're like, oh, I thought about this already. I know what could possibly happen, so I can make a better choice. Or I feel like I can make a better choice, right? So when these things are happening to those of us, and I'm not just talking about our group, I'm talking about those people that are like studying, that like look at this stuff, that are connected, that are aware, that are conscious, that are like living their day in purpose and not just walking around with blinders on. And, those people that are doing this, um, you're going to see this energy not just as a trine, but these sextiles are opportunities, right? Now, opportunities can come in many different ways. You know, if you, I mean, I'll give you an example. This is so you're not scared, because we don't want scared, and we don't want anybody scared, and we don't want division, right? Because that's what they want. But you could say, An opportunity came when you look back on it. At the time, you thought it was the most horrendous thing. But when you look back on it, you could say, oh my God, if I never had the opportunity to do that, I wouldn't have changed my life in this way. That's an opportunity as well. So you could be somebody that all of a sudden had their job taken away, their career taken away. But because you had that career taken away, you got a chance, an opportunity to do something else, and you did it, and you are so much more happy because you didn't even like what you were doing at the time. You were already bored, and you're making so much more money and working less, which is what you dreamed of anyway. But it took you being scared and that energy being cut off and taken away. I see that as an opportunity. Some people may not see that as an opportunity, right? It's a matter of perception, right? How do you perceive it? Where others may get the opportunity as in, I have a job, I'm doing well, but I've got this other opportunity that I've been given. You're going to have stuff like that coming along. Again, it's a matter of perception. So that's why when people ask me, is it going to be nice on in 2025 for me? I don't know. How do you see it? I can tell you what I see, but I don't know how you're going to perceive it, right? It's a matter of perception. So, all that being said, Pluto, I'll tell you what the trining and the sextiles are going to be in exact degrees. That's what's crazy is that they're going to be in exact trine and exact sextiles. And these are coming in. The trines are easy flowing energy that's just going to come in. Gifts, 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 abundance. The sextiles are opportunities to get to what you're wanting to, right? So those are opportunities. They can show up as gifts as well, but they're opportunities. You have to do something further with them. Okay. So Pluto in Aquarius in March will be sextiling in March. Let's go back to March. And then I will be ending this video and I'm going to be starting the other one. So, okay. So March 30th to March 31st is when it's depending on where you are in the world. Okay. So March 30th, when Neptune moves into, because Pluto's already in Aquarius and we're at 3 degrees by this time, and I'll explain that later. This is energy we haven't seen in our lifetime. This this Pluto at 3 degrees, we're about to go into energy we've never seen before. Um, anyway, so Neptune, when it moves into Aries, you're going to have a sextile between Pluto and Neptune. So whatever you've been working on in these two areas of your life, about seeing the truth, about being brave, about not attaching yourself and ignoring the red flags. Like that's Pluto. When he brings everything up, are you going to be brave enough to face it and then release it? Or are you going to Neptune it out and pretend like it's not there or because it was their fault? Or maybe it was because you were being too hard on them or whatever excuse you make. That's kind of Neptune energy, right? But if you've been working on this, which you have, you've watched me, I'm telling you, you've got an opportunity here. Okay. That's in different areas for different people. And that's why I'm going to do each of the signs and take you through these aspects. Okay. But I'm doing it for my members first, and then later on I'll release it to the public. But this is for you guys, my members. Okay. So it is going to be sextiling here. That's the first one. So Neptune in Aries is going to be sextiling Pluto in Aquarius. And even though it's personal, remember, these are big planets. It's societal. So there's going to be an opportunity in society about what we're seeing now, about what we've been too attached to, about what's been hidden and in the underworld is being brought up, right? And we're no longer going to be in Pisces. We're going to be in Aries Neptune. Neptune is going to be in Aries, right? Aries is not about the BS. It's not like Pisces. Aries will confront you. Aries does not have a problem telling you how it is. Okay? Yeah. So, get ready. Now, the next one will be in May. And these are going over the same dates, right? So these are the same dates. May. So in May, this is when Saturn is moving into Aries. It is going to be conjunct Neptune, but it is going to be sextiling Pluto as well. So we're going to have a sextile, an opportunity again in May with Pluto and Neptune and Saturn together. So these dreams that you've been dreaming of, this is a cardinal sign. This is Aries. Aries is not afraid to start anything. Aries is like, why didn't we do it yesterday? Let's go. Right? You're going to have those dreams that you and Neptune and Saturn have been working on in Pisces, and you are bringing them to Aries, where Aries is like, let's do the work, let's get it done, let's like take the action, let's make the choice, let's do the thing. She doesn't even like Aries doesn't think about it. Aries just like sees the thing and let's go. Right? That's what's going to be happening here. Okay? So you're going to get opportunity, opportunity, opportunity. Right? That's in May. May 25th is when it starts. But these are bigger energies, so they stay. These planets don't move as fast, so they'll stay for like a month, 2, 3, 5, right? So that's why I will be doing them specifically, and then I'm going to be showing each of you signs what's going to be going on, right? And then so there'll be another one in July. So in July, Gemini, so that Uranus and Pluto, whew, that one's going to be a thing. Okay. So by July 7th, when Uranus moves in, hold on. Okay, so by July 7th, when Uranus moves, so you're going to have Uranus, you're going to have Venus, and it is going to be trining Pluto. Okay, not sextiling. But this is crazy because look, Uranus is going to be as soon as it gets into like the thing, as soon as Neptune gets into Aries, it's starting that sextile. As soon as Saturn gets into Aries, it's starting the conjunction and sextile to Pluto, right? And then as soon as it hits Gemini, it's got Venus right there. So there's luck, there's beauty, there's things that are going to be coming to you. And it's a trine, right? Remember, in February, I think is what it was, of 2024, when I said all these planets that are coming by. Remember, Pluto was over here in Capricorn, and this was in 2024. And I said, as these planets come and have a conversation with Pluto, he is going to be reminding them as they activate each other, right? So now that Pluto is here, he is going to be saying, remember that work that we did? Remember those things. He's going to be telling Neptune this first. Remember the work that we did with them? Remember how they learned to not attach themselves too much to the illusions of things? Remember how they learned how to work in their truth, not the truth, because truth is a perception. In their truth, remember how they've grown? Remember, like, that's when he's like, let's give them this opportunity, right? And then he tells Saturn, remember how they no longer need and think they need a system and have stepped into their power. Like all these conversations that Pluto had with each one of these planets as they came by Pluto, I told you Pluto was going to remind them, listen, he's going to be saying to each one of those planets, listen, remember what we talked about, and now they've done it, and let's give them this and let's do that, right? He'd been talking to them, but he's talking to them again. So he's going to be talking to Uranus and saying, for all the hard work that they've done, for everything that they understand, for them stepping into their power, for bringing out the light, the darkness, and showing their light. This is the time to reward them for what they've done, right? And because they've been here and understand that even though, because you, Uranus, have been here and helped them understand that they are so much more resourceful than they think they are, and they can take nothing and make something of it because they've done that. Now that you're in Gemini, let's teach them how to expand on that. Let's give them for their hard work that they've done in here. That's the conversation that's going to be happening. That's what Venus, and Venus is going to be like, I'm here to help too. I want to give gifts too. Because y'all know Venus, she likes to give gifts, but she's going to be saying yes because she's with Pluto too. I did learn my boundaries. I did have people understand me. I did not ignore the red flags and learn to let go of those people and not attach myself to things that weren't worth me. I've understood my worth better. Like, this is the whole conversation that Pluto's like, yes, yes, you have. Yes, you have. Yes, you put your boundaries in. Yes, you've done this. And now it's time for the reward. That's what's going to be happening when we have this going on. But I'll go in deeper, right? So, um, then the one last thing, and this is also if I'm going to be doing throughout the year, I'm going to be talking about these. I've already outlined all of this. See, even I'm working better. I've already written everything down. So that's what I've been doing for the last couple of weeks. All right. So then we have this, we're going to have this Saturn. Yeah. So we have this Saturn Jupiter thing going on, right? That's the last thing. And then I'll let you guys go. And then look for my other video because we're going to be moving along. We got lots of work to do. But that's because we're going to be able to navigate this really, really well. Okay. So on August 19th of 2024, I'm going to take you all the way back. Okay. So on August 19th, do you guys remember what you were doing August 19th of 2024? This is when Jupiter and Mars were together, but Jupiter was aspecting and talking to Saturn. Now, Mars was there as well. So if you can remember what was going on August 19th, 2024, or around that time, so it could have been like 2 weeks before, 2 or 3 weeks after. And I've already brought this up several times during the year of 2024, but this was the first of their meeting in a way that you were changing things, right? So a noticeable change, we'll say that, because this is when Saturn was retrograde, right? So what was going on here was, what do you believe? What do you trust in yourself? What dreams are you trying to bring through? What hasn't helped you before? With Mars, what are the old patterns that you're doing, right? Mars is in there saying, you've got these same patterns going on, are you going to change them? And Saturn was like thinking about it. Okay, I thought I was doing really well, but now I've got to adjust here. Okay, I've made some moves, I made some change because Jupiter was trying to expand here. Jupiter was trying to give you more of you. Jupiter was saying, yes, I'm about to show you that you can attain your dreams. We've been working on this, but I need you to like let go of some old patterns, and I need you to really believe in yourself, and I need you to understand what you believe, right? That was the first of that, right? Then this is with Saturn retrograde, these were both direct. Then on December 24th, they had another meeting, right? They had another discussion. They weren't meeting, they were discussion. October, November, December. Okay. So just Christmas time, just recently, right? So on December 24th, this is when they were talking again, Jupiter and Saturn in another square, right? So they were squaring on August 19th, but then on December 24th, they were squaring again. This time, though, Jupiter was retrograde. Okay. So Jupiter retrograde is like, I've shown you what your possibilities were. You did the work that you needed to do. You changed some of the patterns that you needed to change. But so what are we doing now? Which one of your dreams that I showed you this summer and made available to you through Mars, through Saturn, through myself, expanding this house? What was it that you, which ones do you want? You don't have to just pick one. Remember, I've told you guys about this. You don't have to just pick one, but I need you to tell me which one you want. Now, the way the universe speaks is not through words. So you can say which one you want. That doesn't mean you're going to get that. The way that you tell or communicate to the earth, to the universe, to this energy that you want something is that you must take action. Okay. So Jupiter, you saw things slowing down. Jupiter went retrograde. He was like, I already showed you what was possible for you. Which one do you want? You can pick more than one, but you got to tell me which one you want, right? And this was with Saturn saying, you got to take the action. You got to become more involved. You're going to be the expert in this. I'm going to test you. That's Saturn, right? So that's just recently happened. You putting your foot down. Mars was still involved. You putting your foot down. You're not making the same choices that you made before. You old patterns are coming up and you're like, no more, I'm not doing this, right? And this is where Pluto's helping in Aquarius, because he's at 0 degrees, but he's helping. He's like, you're too close to the situation. Back up a little bit and let's see, right? A whole different energy. So you have been, and we're still kind of in this, right? We're not telling the universe by our speech or telling the planets or telling our higher selves or telling the energy. We're not telling that by our speech. We're taking action. We're doing the work, right? Saturn, doing the work, becoming an expert, being the boss, understanding all about it. Of whatever it is that we're wanting to do. We're seeing possibilities open up. We just have to continue to like, how do you become an expert in something? You do it over and over and over again. And that's the energy that we're kind of in with this. Okay. So, and then the last one is going to be on June 15th. So, June 15th. Okay. So, what I'm going to say is this, and I'm going to do a whole video about this aspect. But what I'm going to say about this is whatever was started, whatever changes were made on that first conversation, in that first conversation that Jupiter and Saturn were having, right, on August 19th, 2024, or around that time, whatever changes were made, whatever possibilities were seen, whatever dreams were happening, whatever that is not concluding, because until June 15th, because that is the last time that they're going to have this specific conversation about these specific subjects about your dreams, right? So you have been working on this and working on this since August 19th, when everything started to change for you, right? When the possibilities of your path, your dreams were starting to show themselves, right? And then they sort of backed off a little bit, but that's because you needed to work. Saturn is testing you. Jupiter wants to make sure that you have the wisdom behind the authority that you're going to have in this space, in your path, right? That's what we're working on. And I say that June 15th or around there is when they finally have that last conversation. So this is when they're going to have that last conversation with Neptune there. Do you see that? June 15th. Saturn is going to be not retrograde, so there's nothing to think about anymore. There's nothing to pivot anymore. And Jupiter is going to be direct, right? But they're going to have Neptune as well. So Saturn's going to have Neptune. We already know what Pisces and Saturn is. That's bringing your dreams in. So what do you think Neptune and Saturn is? Bringing your dreams down, making them solid, right? And Jupiter is the expansion of that. And I don't think because they're a square, it's a hard aspect. I think what makes a diamond? Pressure, right? So I feel like this, whatever this is, you're finally, for because it's different things for different people, by on June 15th, or not on that day, but around that time, things are going to get very clear and your dreams are coming true. That's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm excited about. Like, coming true. You're going to see the physicalness of the dreams that you have been working on of this specific area from August 19th, 2024. So with that, I'll leave you. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. I know I've gone a little bit in depth. Again, that's all I can do is go in depth. But okay, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video. For those of you that are interested in the deeper dives of all of this, the next video I'm going to do is each of the important transits that I see in 2025 from January through June or July. So for the next 6 months. If you want the more in-depth stuff that I'm doing for each of these transits, that's where you want to go to my membership. So my membership usually gets them early access. Um, and some of them I don't even release to the public. So the membership is only $4.99. And you can press that join button. Otherwise, I will see you on the next one. Thank you so much. Talk to you later. Bye.